Lotus has been out for some time now, and in pro play we've seen the meta take shape with Omen and Viper as the two dominant controllers. Omen was the top pick at nearly 80% above Viper's 52%. Double controller has become a staple in the pro scene, so it's no surprise that Omen and Viper are part of the most picked team comp on Lotus. Although I mostly play Omen on this map, I've been experimenting with Viper as well. After watching pros like Nats play her, she does look very strong and ranked. Either controller can work on this map, so if you're more comfortable with one over the other, then by all means stick with that controller. That being said, today we're going to review one of my Omen matches on Lotus and extract all of the good and bad so we can learn how to play Omen more effectively on Lotus together. I'm chill and let's get into it. So when I play Omen, I typically either stick with classic light armor, 2 smokes and a blind, or I'll opt for frenzy, 1 smoke, blind, and TP without the light armor. I usually go with the frenzy buy on defense because attackers rush with 5 to 1 sight, so I really only need 1 smoke. On attack, I'll go with double smoke because I'll need both for the sight execute in most cases. Alright, let's get into the first round here. I decide that I want to get aggressive at A, so I call over my Breach to stun Root, which allows us to take a lot of space for free and fight Rubble. Yo Breach, you want to stun this? Here. I'm gonna try to TP up. Since I have a TP and Frenzy, I want to use that TP to get to Rubble quickly and use that close range opportunity. I also invest a blind here too, so the enemies can't see or hear that I TP'd. This gets us a free pick since Raze also threw her nade into the Breach stun. Now I tried to play with my Raze here, but unfortunately we get owned by the Sage, who is God's gift with a classic. This was a bit of an error on our part to keep pushing since our Reyna and Sage weren't ready to fight with us. We had man advantage here, so we probably should have just chilled in this situation and controlled the space by holding an off angle together near Rubble until our teammates rotated. Now a very winnable round became a 2v2, but luckily our Sage picks off the last 2 and we win the round. Moving on to round 4, the first full buy for each team. In the previous round, I TP'd to Rubble and got caught by the Omen, who also TP'd across. He knew from the previous round that I TP'd there, so it's possible he predicted I'd do it again, and he was very right. I decided not to TP this time, and it was the right decision since Omen blinded a main at the very start of the round, which would have put me in a rough spot. I relayed the info to my teammates and expected the 5-man rush again since they haven't deviated from that strategy yet. Phoenix throws a molly sight and I smoke expecting the Phoenix to push. My smoke prevents them from pushing through and they start to reroute with their Sage wall towards B. My Sage gets overpowered and they take control of A main and Link and plant B. Now to be honest, the Breach hurt a lot of people by the orb, so in theory he could have stunned and aftershocked them, but he decided to push out of door with a flash instead. I try to help the Breach by pushing towards the wall and see that the Sage wall is bad and spot Omen's gun barrel. This is where I make a critical error. I get a little tunnel visioned on the Killjoy who killed Breach, and I tried to blind and swing. It was too slow and the Killjoy already swung wide into A main. I also swung out into a bad position and should have realized they were probably still holding from A Link. The problem with my play is that I tunnel visioned on the Killjoy even though I knew they were all in this area because they 5-man rushed every round so far, and we also had the Sage wall B, so they couldn't have come from mid. In hindsight, after I got the pick on Omen, I should have relaxed because my Reyna killed the Phoenix B shortly after I died. I knew where the Killjoy was and Sage walled A main, so Sage was most likely A Link. Instead of swinging here, I could have smoked A Link for my Reyna and then regrouped with them top B. This way, as Reyna diffuses, I can play a really nice high-low position with them, making it really hard for the Killjoy and Sage to win. Alright, let's look at one more round on attack. Round 8 starts with what looks like a default. Killjoy gets a pick on our Raze playing C, and the enemy Omen smokes A main. I don't hear a rush A, so I assume the attackers are starting to move towards C after the pick. I also believe Omen could be lurking, so I ask Breach to flash door so I can peek through the Omen smoke. Breach, you want to flash the door? I catch Omen by Rubble and get some damage in, but he TPs towards C to regroup with his team. Right after the TP, Reyna gets 2 picks on C, confirming the C hit. I immediately knife out rotate towards C to prepare for the retake. I still have flash and try to make a play with my Breach, who's getting ready to push out of waterfall with his flash, and there's this pretty nice blind angle from waterfall that hits close left, safe plant, and most of sight. Unfortunately, even though I call my flash, Breach pushes in a bit too early and gets killed by the Phoenix close right. I flash. I can flash sight.
Spike planted.
Ready?
Blinding.
Flash. This ends up helping the Sage and I as we pinch from waterfall and halls together. The Sage gets killed from sight, and I clean up the last kill on the Omen to win the round. Okay, so we're gonna skip a few rounds and go straight to round 17. We decide to hit C fast since we have a breach ult to quickly get on site. I do the normal waterfall, hall smoke, and blind bend, which is a very common position for defenders like Killjoy to hold with util. My breach's ult and Raze's nade are perfectly timed and gets a free kill on the Killjoy. I TP in to get on site fast and keep the pressure up. Now pay attention to my eyes here. The Jett throws a smoke from halls and I use her smoke to my advantage. Since I am in a position where I don't really need to look at my crosshair, I check minimap and see Jett playing close. I use that info to line up my shot and get a nice minimap frag on the Jett. If you're wondering how I thought about doing this, check out the video in the top right. I promise you'll learn some good stuff there. After that, I decide to TP back towards mound to check for a flank timing, but see nothing. This actually almost ended up costing the round since I probably should have just stayed sight with my teammates, but we clean up the last kills and win the round. This next round is a great example of having a plan that fails and having to readjust on the fly. We've been struggling to win attacking rounds since most of the time we 5-man rush a site and try to brute force our way through the round. This wasn't working, so I decided to call for us to play slow and spread out to get info. Maybe we get a pick and then hit a site off of that. I smoke the choke at C and walk up with my teammates. Our teammate gets a pick at A and we trade out a kill at C. We know the Phoenix is mid since he ulted earlier in the round, and the Killjoy is most likely C or C link towards B since we heard her turret activate before the trade. I see the breach fighting mid, so I smoke for them, and since I was a bit quick with the smoke, the Phoenix nearly kills me through the gap. Gotta be careful with smoke placements and try not to be lazy because this round could have went south fast. Breach gets a nice pick on the Sage, and now we have A for free. Now we're in a man advantage and want to try and be in positions where we can trade each other. Reyna and Breach take the fight against Phoenix, and now we just have the Killjoy left. I tell Reyna I have low health and I can play with her.
I have 26 health, I can play with you, Reyna.
Ideally, I would take first contact and bait for her since I'm one shot, but Reyna takes the initiative and gets the pick. In these situations, you want to secure the win with your man advantage and try playing very close to your teammates to get the trade if necessary. Finally, we made it to the last round. Up until this point, we invested ults and took B and C fast, which ended up working. It seemed like during this game that was either working or not working for us, so it probably could have gone either way. My teammates won their 50-50 gunfights without much strategy involved, but hey, sometimes that'll do. There are a couple of things I wanted to highlight for the last round. At this point, we have a ton of money and the enemy is going to have to force rifles with light armor or eco weapons. I call that Killjoy has ult, so she's probably going to use it for the retake.
Well, she's gonna probably ult for the retake.
The round starts and we rush like we're on an eco round, which is the first mistake. Generally, when the enemy has a weak economy, they will do something unusual or try to get a cheesy kill and steal a weapon. My team ignores that possibility and sends it up A main through tree. I see Phoenix tuck tree, and this is where I could have fallen apart. The Phoenix flashes, which he could have converted into 2 kills. On top of that, we had Spike and our momentum could have been stopped right there. Phoenix could have picked up a rifle and now it's a 5v3. Luckily, my Sage saves the day and we make it to site. Breach gets another pick and the Killjoy ults just like I expected. My teammates recklessly flood the remaining players, but our momentum is too strong, so now it's GG's.
Attackers win.
Oh my gosh.
And that's going to be it for this one. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and let me know in the comments what you'd like to see from me next. Subscribe for more guides like this one and check out this video next for more. Thank you guys for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.